We had to begin piecing together the puzzle of his life. We had to imagine Blake, the man. The details were scarce in the initial reports, like scattered embers from a dying fire. But the barest fragments began to surface, painting a picture of a man who was more than just a name in a grim headline. Blake was known in his community, a tight-knit town nestled against the rolling foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, as a vibrant soul. Harmony Creek, a place where front porches were always open and gossip traveled faster than the creek itself, embraced its own. Blake was a generous man, quick to lend a hand, his smile a beacon, and his infectious laughter could fill a room, chasing away shadows and lifting spirits. He worked as a mechanic at Chappells Auto, his family's long-standing business, a craftsman who was happiest with his hands deep in the greasy heart of a car's engine. He loved cars with a passion that bordered on reverence, not just as machines, but as vessels of freedom and adventure. Restoring vintage models was his sanctuary, bringing chrome and steel back to life, and then taking them out on the open road, the wind in his hair, the hum of the engine a comforting symphony. He was a man defined by his drive, his passion, a man whose life, by all accounts, had been marked by warmth and an easy friendliness. He had a close circle of friends and family, a constellation of people who orbited his bright presence, all of whom were now reeling, trying to make sense of an incomprehensible loss. His loss had left a hole in the fabric of the community, a tear that seemed too gaping to ever mend. His absence was already a palpable ache, a silence where his laughter used to be. This waiting was a torture, a slow, agonizing drip of uncertainty, a painful reminder of the unknown that gnawed at their peace. The days stretched on, each sunrise and sunset amplifying the anguish of a family, a community held hostage by unanswered questions. The small town of Harmony Creek, usually a place of quiet routines and friendly nods, was now a breeding ground for anxiety. The absence of Blake's familiar pickup truck, a cherry-red Ford F-100, at his usual spot outside Millie's diner, the empty chair at Sunday dinner at the Chappell homestead, the hushed tones of conversations on front porches beneath the ancient oak trees. All these subtle shifts spoke volumes of the void he had left behind. All people, in their own ways, began to speculate. Each theory, whispered with growing unease, was a fragile construct, built on fear and a desperate need for an explanation. Whispers turned to rumors, and the rumors, like an insidious weed, grew and twisted, becoming a dark cloud looming over the town, casting a pall of suspicion and dread over every interaction. The mountain air, usually crisp and clean, seemed to carry the weight of their collective worry. The rustling leaves of the dense forest surrounding Harmony Creek whispering tales of unease. The surrounding landscape, a tapestry of dense woodlands and rugged terrain, offered a stark beauty that now felt tinged with menace. The shadows cast by the ancient trees seemed to lengthen, mirroring the growing darkness in the hearts of Harmony Creek's residents. The police, in the meantime, methodically pursued every lead, their faces etched with the weight of their task. Detective Miller, a man whose career had been dedicated to bringing closure to victims and their families, felt the burden of this case more acutely than most. He understood the ripple effect of violence in a small town, how it could shatter the illusion of safety and introduce a pervasive fear. Every interaction, every movement, every piece of physical evidence found at the scene, a discarded cigarette but near the back alley of the garage, a faint scuff mark on the linoleum floor of Blake's workshop, a single tire track leading away into the surrounding, moonless darkness, had to be scrutinized and documented with painstaking precision. This involved meticulous crime scene photography, fingerprint dusting, and soil analysis to determine the origin of any foreign debris. It was a process requiring both meticulous attention to detail and the almost intuitive ability to connect the dots, to weave the disparate pieces of the puzzle into a cohesive narrative. The detectives, sworn to uphold the law and armed with the tools of modern forensics, became more than just investigators. They became the voice of the voiceless, the silent guardians of Blake Chappell's story, determined to unravel the truth, no matter how ugly it might be. They interviewed neighbors, friends, colleagues, sifting through the mundane details of Blake's life for any anomaly, any hint of discord, from gambling debts to clandestine affairs. Investigators even meticulously reviewed Blake's digital footprint, analyzing his phone records and social media activity for any suspicious. The sheer volume of data, from GPS logs on Blake's phone to his recent credit card transactions, required a dedicated team working around the clock. Their office bathed in the sterile glow of computer monitors, a stark contrast to the rustic charm of Harmony Creek. The search area, a sprawling expanse of wilderness bordering the town, was combed by search parties, their flashlights cutting through the inky blackness, each rustle of leaves a potential clue. They meticulously documented every footprint, every broken twig, in the hope of finding a trace of Blake or his assailant. The pressure to deliver answers was immense, felt by every officer from the chief down to the newest recruit. Each sleepless night a testament to their commitment. The impact of the news of an arrest, when it finally broke, was immediate and palpable. It rippled through Harmony Creek like a shockwave, the town's only newspaper, the Harmony Herald, emblazoned with the headline. It brought a strange mix of relief, a flicker of hope that this nightmare might finally be nearing its end, and a lingering cloud of grief that the cause of their suffering had been identified. For Blake's family, the arrest was a sign. It was an acknowledgement that justice was being sought, that the system had not forgotten Blake's life, that the void he left would not be left unanswered. His parents, Martha and Thomas Chappell, who had been living in a state of numb despair, their once lively home now cloaked in an oppressive silence, felt a faint stirring of something other than sorrow. But it also renewed the ache of loss. The arrest was not a resurrection. It wasn't going to bring Blake back, or erase the brutal events of that night. It was a step, a crucial one, but a long way from the full recovery that they desperately needed. The process of mourning, of healing, had only just begun, and it was a journey that would be measured in months, if not years, a slow, arduous climb towards acceptance. The suspect, identified as a transient known to frequent the outskirts of Harmony Creek, offered a grim face in the mugshot, a stark contrast to the warmth Blake had embodied. Local law enforcement, aided by state investigators, had canvassed local shelters and public parks, piecing together the suspect's movements in the days leading up to Blake's disappearance. The suspect, a man with a history of petty crimes and a reputation for evasiveness, had been apprehended at a bus station in a neighboring county, attempting to flee. The relief, fragile as it was intertwined with the painful reality that this was more than just a legal case. It was a human tragedy, a brutal act that had irrevocably altered the lives of so many. The media, both traditional and the insatiable maw of social media, were flooded with tributes, pictures of Blake's life, him beaming at a local car show, his signature grin widening as he displayed a meticulously restored Mustang, him with his arm around his younger sister, Sarah, his eyes twinkling with brotherly affection, him laughing with friends around a bonfire, the flames illuminating the easy camaraderie. Every expression of sorrow, every cherished memory shared, served as a stark reminder of the profound impact the death had on the community, a testament to the vibrant life that had been so cruelly extinguished. The very ordinariness of Blake's life, the simple pleasures he found in his work and his relationships, made the brutality of his end all the more shocking, a stark contrast to the quiet rhythm of Harmony Creek. The shared grief, amplified by the online outpouring, wove a tapestry of communal sorrow, the digital space becoming an extension of the hushed conversations on those familiar front porches. The community of Harmony Creek, bound together by this shared tragedy, began the slow, painful process of remembrance, each shared story a small light against the darkness, each act of kindness a testament to the enduring spirit Blake had inspired.